Have you noticed something strange happening lately? More and more people are quietly stepping away from the life they once thought they wanted. Not dramatically, not loudly, just quietly. People leaving jobs that once looked impressive on paper. People moving away from busy cities. People deleting apps. People choosing smaller circles, slower mornings, quieter lives. And what's interesting is this. 10 or 15 years ago, that kind of life might have looked like failure. But today, it's starting to look like success. For a long time, we were taught that success looked a certain way. A fast life, a loud life, a life full of constant movement and visible achievement, busy schedules, constant productivity, big goals, big announcements, big recognition. But recently, something fascinating has been happening. Quietly, without a big announcement. More and more people are starting to question that definition. And some of them are discovering something surprising. The life they were chasing might not actually be the life that brings peace. The old definition of success. If you think about it, most of us grew up with a very clear picture of success. Work harder, earn more, climb higher, achieve more, always keep moving forward. And in many ways, that mindset built incredible things. Innovation, technology, opportunities previous generations never had. But there was also a hidden message buried inside that definition. Rest equals laziness. Stillness equals falling behind. Quiet equals unproductive. And over time, something subtle started happening to people. They stopped asking themselves a very important question. Do I actually want this life? The moment people start questioning. For many people, that question doesn't appear straight away. Life moves quickly. You follow the path that seems logical. School, work, career, responsibilities. Years pass. Then one day something small happens. You're sitting somewhere quiet. Maybe drinking coffee in the morning. Maybe walking the dog. Maybe driving home after a long day. And a thought appears. A simple one. Why am I so tired all the time? Not just physically tired. Deep tired. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. And that's when people begin to realize something. They're not tired because they're weak. They're tired because the life they built requires them to run constantly. The cultural shift. Something interesting is happening across the world right now. People are starting to redefine success, not loudly, but quietly. Success is becoming less about showing the world how busy you are, and more about creating a life that actually feels good to live. People are beginning to value things that used to look ordinary. Peaceful mornings, slower days, meaningful conversations instead of endless networking, a small circle of trusted people instead of hundreds of acquaintances. Time to think, time to breathe, time to actually experience life rather than constantly chasing the next milestone. And what's fascinating is this. Many people who achieve the traditional version of success eventually discover the same thing. The noise is exhausting, the illusion of the busy life. We live in a world where being busy is often treated like a badge of honor. How are you? Oh, busy. As if busyness itself proves that our life is important. But if you step back and really look at it, a lot of modern busyness isn't meaningful activity. It's just noise, notifications, emails, meetings that could have been messages, scrolling, endless information. And somewhere inside all of that noise, people have started losing contact with something very simple. The quiet voice inside them. The one that actually knows what matters. Why the quiet life feels different. The quiet life isn't about doing nothing. That's a misunderstanding. A quiet life is actually very full, but it's full of different things. Instead of constant urgency, there is presence. Instead of endless comparison, there is contentment. Instead of chasing approval, there is self-trust. When life slows down slightly, people start noticing things again. The weather, the way sunlight hits the floor in the morning, birds, wind, small conversations that would normally be rushed past. And something surprising happens. The nervous system begins to relax. What the human mind was designed for, human beings didn't evolve inside endless noise. For most of human history, life was slower, smaller communities, more connection with nature, longer periods of quiet thinking. The modern world brought incredible progress, but it also introduced something the human brain is still adapting to. Constant stimulation. Our minds are processing more information in one day than people in previous centuries processed in months. So when people start craving quiet, it isn't weakness, It's biology, the nervous system asking for balance, the courage to step back. Choosing a quieter life sometimes requires courage, because it means stepping away from expectations. Other people might not understand it. They might say things like, "You're wasting your potential. You could be doing more. You're capable of bigger things." But here's something interesting. Peace is a very big thing. A calm mind is a very big thing. A life that allows you to wake up without dread is a very big thing. And more people are starting to realize that. The new definition of success. Success is slowly changing shape. Instead of asking, "How impressive does my life look?" people are starting to ask, "How does my life actually feel?" Does it feel rushed? Does it feel pressured? Does it feel constantly overwhelming? Or does it feel grounded, steady, sustainable? Because the truth is, a life that looks impressive from the outside can still feel empty on the inside. But a life that feels peaceful often becomes incredibly meaningful. The quiet revolution. What we're seeing right now might actually be a quiet cultural revolution. People planting gardens, learning to cook again, taking long walks, spending time with their children, choosing smaller homes, working fewer hours if they can, protecting their time, protecting their energy, rebuilding their lives around what actually matters, not because they're giving up on ambition, but because they're redefining it. Final thoughts. Success doesn't have to be loud, it doesn't have to be fast, and it definitely doesn't have to exhaust you. Sometimes success looks like this: a calm mind, a peaceful home, a few people you trust deeply, work that feels meaningful, and enough quiet in your life to actually hear yourself think. For many people, that kind of life is starting to look like the greatest success of all. Closing. If this idea resonates with you, maybe it's simply an invitation to pause. Take a breath, step outside for a moment, and ask yourself one small question. What does a good life actually look like for me? Because the answer might be quieter than the world expects, but that doesn't make it small. Sometimes the quietest lives are the richest ones of all. As always, this has been Valkyrie. Thanks for stopping by. Until next time, be kind to yourself and others. Lanterns up, people.